Copy that. Parameter secure. 10-4.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you happen to be in the world, readable no, with your host, Andy, Sigma Prepper. Here we are. This is the Prepping 2022 series, which is brand new. This is the prototype, just introduction to what it's all going to be about. So let us know what you're feeling in the chat as we go through tonight. You'll notice that it's very different to the live show that we have. If you look at we check out the Sigma Prepper channel, you'll see the different videos we've got here. We've got the live show coming up tomorrow night, Thursday, going live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 p.m. UK time. That's the Sigma Prepper live show, which we're going to be having tomorrow. But what this show is all about on a Wednesday is SHTF Scenarios, and we're looking at survival scenarios and things like this, and everything you need to know about becoming a prepper, and if you're already a prepper, some more advanced principles and strategies that you're going to want to know. So that's basically what the show's about. That's what I've designed it to be. It is still somewhat in prototype form in a way. I literally finished the last couple of slides. So the idea is, you see, what we're going to be doing is 5 seconds. I just got to change the volume of something already. Okay. Right, let me know everything's all right in the chat. Hi everyone. Let's make sure we're all in. Everyone's saying hello to everyone. Great to see you, Ansett Girl. Looking forward to catching up with you. And managed to get the chat message sorted out because the having a problem with that font again, so I had to do a reboot. So absolutely both headphones in for the tunes, said Sandy. Great to see you, my darling. And TD Monkey Pickle in the house. And I think I wasn't sure if we'd do a VIP after party tonight, but I think we will, just so we can get some feedback on tonight's show and how it will look going forward. And of course, we still got tomorrow's show coming up, plus loads more as well. So great to see Daily Survival in the house as well. Hello, my darling. And Debbie Sermon. Our darling Debbie, great to see you. And I think you said somewhere further up that you're not at work today. So how cool is that? So yeah, you're not at work tomorrow, should I say, which is actually today, because it is 20 to 1 a.m. in the UK here. But it's a good time for our American friends and our Australian friends. So that's how we're doing, is the SHTF Scenarios, which is the Prepping 2022 series, a more strategic approach to preparedness. A more strategic approach to preparedness. So that's what we're all about. And that's the idea of what the show is going to be about every week. And so every week is going to be a different topic. And so I've got some topics lined up for you. So one of the things we're going to be doing tonight, as you can see here, we'll go through the agenda for tonight. So we've got a welcome and intro. We've kind of pretty much done that. We've got the SHTF Intel report that we'll have coming up very shortly. We'll just have a quick skirt over. And we'll maybe hear from Tia with her report as well, the Tactical Intelligence Assistant, Artificial Intelligence report. So we'll hear from her briefly, and then we'll steam into the SHTF Scenarios, of which I'll give you a little sneak peek of the main full show next week, and give you the option tonight or today or this afternoon or this morning, whatever time it is. And that goes for you if you're watching this afterwards. In the comments below, you'll be able to be voting for which topic we're going to be getting into before others, is the idea, right? So this is the and then we'll have a little bit of Howls and Growls, maybe if there's time, and then of course the end, but not the end, because it's the VIP after party for our VIPs, and from Patreon in the Discord, links in the description for Discord. But so that's what we're going to be rocking with tonight. So, and obviously you'll notice we've got the gnarly background rocking with the burning out car. And, you know, it's all a bit gnarly. We've got a gnarly music, so it's very different to a Thursday Sigma Prepper live show. So let me know if you're liking it. Oh, wow. So Debbie's starting a new job tomorrow, working in the vets. So not getting up at 4 a.m. because she works at a gas station, which of course, early mornings. 5.5 by 5, good sound and visuals. Thank you, my daily. Lovely to see you in the chat. So what we'll have a quick do, I think what we need to do first and foremost is to thank those that have helped me to even be here in the first place. For those that don't know, and those that are new here, I am 100% independent, not owned by anyone or anything, so no sponsors, no networks, no nothing, not even monetized, because we're so brand new. But it's not the end of the world, because there are lots of lovely, brilliant, beautiful ways to help. And of course, streamlabs.com/Sigma Prepper is how people are doing super chats, which will come up above my head, and you can say what you want in the message as well. So that's a great way of supporting the channel. And of course, Patreon as well is always a good one. Lots of stuff coming up on Patreon. We have the VIP after parties on Discord as well, just for the patrons. So lovely to have those conversations we have together. Tonight will be no different with these people. Thank you so much for keeping me online. Thank you for your support, whether it's the 20 cents a day support right up to the ultras. Thank you so very much for keeping me online, and it's real difficult at the moment, as you know, as a creator. So thank you so very much. Really appreciate your wonderful fineness. And of course, if you would like to help, links in the description, all the different ways that you can help us out. So let's get back then to it. So teamwork, do give the video a like if you haven't done already, and do add it into your favorites, into a folder called Prepping 2022 or SHTF Scenarios, into a playlist would be lovely, and that'll help things get along rockingly. And that's the idea. So what we got rocking? Wow, we got so many things to do. I think what we need to do first and foremost though is to get into some SHTF Intel. And then when we come out of that, we'll get into the main topic, which, as you saw, Prepping 2022, SHTF Survival Scenarios. And so the Prepping 2022, this will be the same. Every week we'll be going live with a new topic. And tonight, I'm going to be giving you the first few slides. This is actually a 40-slide show, the advanced, hence the word advanced principles of prepping, a more strategic approach to preparedness. So this is what I'm going to be giving you a little bit of a sneak peek this week. And then as well, at the end of it, we'll have a list of topics coming up that you'll be able to choose, so we can prioritize and put them in the right order in terms of what's most important, what's most urgent, and so on. And we'll be getting into the Eisenhower matrix in terms of what's most important and what's most urgent as well. So don't miss any of that. And yeah, we'll be getting back into that once we've come out of the SHTF Intel. So thank you so very much to everyone for being with me. I've got to say, we've had some great success on the YouTube channel. It's been lovely here on YouTube so far with such a new channel. We've already broken past the 100 subscribers mark, so thank you so very much to those that have subscribed. Really do appreciate your support. And of course, this is what we're talking about here. Sigma Prepper, just hit the subscribe button right about now and it'll all be good in the hood. And before we get into the SHTF Intel, it only seems right that we quickly check out where you need to be going in the future to always catch up with what's going on with me over on the sigmaprepper.com website, which you can find at sigmaprepper.com. And when the shit hits the fan, don't end up around a campfire eating squirrels on sticks. So this is the website, go and check it out. Loads of stuff on there. There's even some free products for download as well. SHTF Intel report to give you the latest, and we'll check in on that after we've come back from the SHTF. Latest Sigma Prepper blog as well, with all the latest posts there, latest videos and things, plus the links to the Discord server, a little bit about what a Sigma is all about and so on. So definitely don't miss that. Get yourself in there. All the ways you can help me stay here as well is always good. So that's what you want to be doing. But in the meantime, I think it's about time we got into the SHTF Intel. We're going to have a quick look about and see what's going on in the world, and then we'll come out the other side and we'll see what's going on. So oh, by the way, cheers everybody. Still haven't got my Sigma Prepper mug. It's funny, so many of the Patreon VIPs have already got a Sigma Prepper mug, and I haven't even got a mug of my own Sigma Prepper, so how bad is that? So I think let's get into it then with the SHTF Intel. Let's see what's been hitting the fan today and around the world with the global analysis report with the SHTF Intel. Let's do it. Here we are then with the SHTF Intel. Today, the 22nd now. The 22nd of September 2022. And bringing the SHTF Intel to you. So yes, here we are. We're going to be going through this kind of stuff. We'll be checking in with the global analysis from Tia. Some of you may have seen it or heard it already this week. It's a new version, but it's basically, she's saying the same thing it seems. But for those who haven't heard it, that'll be playing next. So I get a few tabs open in the background because it's such a mad rush getting rocking. And then again, we'll get into some disaster news, see what's been going around in the headlines. And then we'll look at some solar flares and some quakes to see what's been going on today with the SHTF Intel today. And of course, economic crisis, we'll have a little look at that as well. Which reminds me, let's get a tab open for that. And we'll have a little check in on some economics and see what's been going on. We do have some, you'll see down here below in the footer, the ticker tape there, you'll see we've got some of your main key metrics there with your wheat and your oil. It's been a reasonably interesting week, and it will continue to be very interesting as the economic crisis continues for 2022. It's definitely not going anywhere. And of course, we'll have a little chat in the chat as well, and we'll see what everyone else is seeing out there and what they want to report to me live in the chat while we're doing the SHTF Intel. So let's do that. But in the meantime, and again, thank you very much to our supporters who have been doing the old streamlabs.com/Sigma Prepper support. Really appreciate it. And get your name up in lights. Broadcast your message out to 850 billion people around the galaxy. So it's always a good thing to do. And those who know, you'll know. So I think it's about time. Should we do some Tia business? Yeah, should we check out and see what Tia's got to say? And then we'll be back in a few minutes after Tia's given you her global analysis. and then we'll get through the disaster news and the solar flares and the earthquakes and volcanoes and stuff like that. So let's hear from Tia then and see what she's got to say for us for a global analysis report for today, the 22nd of September 2022.
Quantum phase initiation sequence. Welcome to the Sigma Prepper Artificial Intelligence Report for Thursday, the 22nd of September, 2022. Scanning global intelligence sources. Critical alert. Global threat detected. My observations show major disruptions to the underlying fabric of the global economy. Extrapolation. The circulation and distribution of physical cash is steadily restricted in an effort to force the population into an exclusively digital economic infrastructure. Banks increasingly limit the availability of loans, overdrafts, and other forms of business and personal credit services. Further, banking policy changes reduce account holders' ability to withdraw, transfer, or gain access to their funds. Outcome prediction. Small to medium businesses will be forced to close through rising energy prices and supply chain disruptions. The cascade of disasters and failures on an already weakened global society is the logical prerequisite for a complete economic takeover by the unelected, authoritarian globalist powers. Preventative measures. Supplementary caution. Compliance is futile. One cannot comply their way out of a tyranny. Sustained mass non-compliance remains the optimal, non-violent solution. Supplemental threat. My pattern detection algorithms are matching multiple warnings beginning Saturday, September 24th, 2022. Speculation. Error. Insufficient data. Potential alert level. Unknown. Specific location. Unknown. Accordingly, international caution is advised. Conclusion. My hypothesis of the most logical and plausible SHTF scenarios. Mass failure of businesses caused by unaffordable energy prices, imminent. Economic collapse, inevitable. Food supply chain, collapse imminent. Mass protests and civil unrest, risk imminent. Global conflict due to Thucydides' trap, highly probable. Extreme caution ahead. Final recommendation. Prepare now with SigmaPrepper.com. Reject the herd. Prepare the pack.
Heard it. That was Tia, our in-house artificial intelligence, tactical intelligence assistant. Intelligence is her middle name, hence Tia, tactical intelligence assistant. So thank you so much for supporting Tia, and of course if you would like to make sure you always catch up with what Tia's got to say, she puts out her global analysis report usually on a Monday, around about 8 o'clock in the morning UK time, about midnight Pacific Standard Time, just to capture the YouTube server timestamp, essentially, just so you know. So yeah, you can look out for these thumbnails. They look like this during the week, and that will be the latest Tia report. And of course, there'll always be the date on there, so you can make sure it's the latest one. So do look out for the Tia reports. They'll be every Monday, so do look out for them. Give them a good look. Give them a good like as well, because they need a good bit of support. And I think they're nice 3-4 minute segments that are very shareable on your social media. So do check it out. The link should be in the description for that one. If not, you'll see it on the channel, and you can share that on your social media to give it to them, because I think there's some important things in there. And don't forget, she was talking about the 24th of September, right? There's been a lot of chatter. So let's talk about that quickly. So the September the 24th has been rocking around the internet quite a lot. Lots of people talking about. There was a minister of something or other in Germany, I think it was, who talked about 24th being the sort of day where everybody would remember where they were and what they were doing. Then they tried to retract it and say no, that he meant to say the 24th of February, not the 24th of September, trying to suggest that it was a slip of the tongue, and he was referring to Ukraine and that situation on the 24th of February. But at the same time, there's the thing on The Simpsons, which corroborates the 24th of September. There's also the Vatican that's recalling all of their assets and funds by the end of September. There's also the, let me know in the chat, other ones that you've seen as well, as to all the things that lead up to the 24th. Plus it's the Shemitah. It's the Shemitah Sabbath, which is like a Jewish sort of financial cycle, significant time, let's just say. I'll have to do a whole show about that on its own. But basically, they've got that all happening at the same time as well. So I think this is why there's a lot of chatter. And of course, Tia's going to pick up on stuff like this when it's all going around, flying around the net, and it's all trending. So we'll see what's going to happen. And of course, everything else that she talks about is absolutely gnarly at the moment. And as you can probably agree, everything seems to be cascading. All these funny coincidences, says Sandy, absolutely. Closest petrol station to Carolyn Rowe, she's in Australia, went up 50 cents. So, wow. Great job, Tia. Thank you very much, Daily Survival. Really appreciate your support. Thanks, Debbie. So, yeah, it's, yes, the Vatican all worrying. Looks like Debbie's heard that story, with the Vatican recalling all the money from all of their churches around the world. We're not sure quite why. Some people have theorized that there's some investigations going to happen. It may be the idea of it may be to consolidate and to separate things, but you would think that you wouldn't want to bring it into the Vatican. Who knows? But there's a lot going on, let's just put it that way, right? So talking of what's a lot going on, let's check out the disaster news, or let's just at least check out the headlines. We'll just see what the mainstream are talking about today. Now we're past midnight. Let's give it, in fact, we might as well give it a quick refresh as well. So you got this hundreds held after Russia call up sparks protest. Again, more Russia stuff. This is on World, part of the BBC News. Just I like to see what they want us to think. So, yeah, and I tell you what, it's quite a mixed bag, which is unusual. But obviously, as a lot of people have known, and let us know in the comments below if you're watching this afterwards or in the live chat, the sort of subjects that you're seeing going on. Of course, we have to watch the keywords and things in the chat, so be careful with the sort of words that you use. But yeah, as you can see, there's a lot going on, and I don't want to get stuck into too much on the mainstream there, but as you can tell, we are definitely coming towards a time. So I'm just looking over here on G Captain, which is a good way of checking out what's going on. Doesn't look like there's anything too significant at the top there. I'm literally going through this along with you at the same time. Doesn't look like there's anything major, so that's good. Biometric update. Let's have a quick look and see what's going on in the industry news for the biometrics. Most read this week is sometimes interesting. Biometric Integration Consortium promise easier, secure online transactions in Europe. I wonder how they're going to promise that. Little iris scan, maybe. IDEMIA claims fairest facial verification among most accurate algorithms in latest NIST test. So this is the stuff that's going on in the industry. Clearview, I've heard of those. Facial recognition used to exonerate a suspect on trial over traffic fatality. So they're already starting to use it in trials quite prolifically. We read this quite regularly. One for our Australia watchers. Australia readies for modified, more expensive two-step IDEMIA biometric airport smart gates. So, should we have a little quick butchers at that, shall we, and see what sort of Orwellian nightmare is on the way to Australia? Australia's plan for biometric passenger identification for arrivals at its international airports is back on track with a revived deal with IDEMIA. IDEMIA, A previous contract with VisionBox failed, leading the Department of Home Affairs to resume its partnerships with Ardemia to install a two-step system with registration kiosk and gates using facial analysis and then facial recognition. So that's interesting. So Carolyn and Urban Harvesting and any other of our Australian friends that happen to be in the live chat right now, yeah, if you didn't know, now you do. And you're paying for this. The cost of Ardemia's contract for support and maintenance of the smart case has risen this year, reports Innovation Australia, by $12.8 million, 8.6 million US. So this is 42 million Australian dollars have been ploughed into this until July 2024, right? So, wow. It's funny how no one asks, isn't it? No one asks permission. So we're over here on the watchers then. We'll have a look at the sort of earth changes, see updates and see what's going on with that. We've got widespread flooding and damage after the worst September storm since the 1970s hits Alaska. That was the 21st, so that was yesterday. So we'll have a little pop that one open. Nanmadol hits Kyushu as fourth strongest typhoon in the recorded history of Japan. So we've got a lot of typhoons rocking about. Fiona becomes category 4. Hurricane expected to hit Atlantic Canada as a powerful hurricane. 4 cyclones, let's check that one out as well. And then we've got a volcanic alert over in New Zealand. So let's go and check them out quickly and see if there's anything rocking. So widespread flooding and damage after the worst September storm since the 1970s hits Alaska, United States. Remnants of Typhoon Merbok slammed into western Alaska on September 16th. So let's have a look and see if we got some footage. Let's have a little scan through. Oh yeah, that's nasty. Looks like that's on the right on the riverfront anyway, by the looks of it, isn't it? So there's someone driving about. Just looks a little bit puddly more than anything at this point in time. So yeah, that's what we've got being reported on that. Looks like people popped in some. Not going to let us do anything until we log in. We need to be on the other browser for that, really, don't we? So this is the Fiona that becomes a Category 4 hurricane, expected to hit Atlantic Canada as a powerful hurricane. So when's it expected to hit? Let's have a little look. So I'm just scanning it through just to see. See how tropical storm conditions possible. Bermuda. Where else are we seeing this? It's got to be later than that then if it's talking Bermuda, isn't it? Let's have a look. It's pretty far off the coast, look, check it out. It's way off the coast, so I don't know. I think it'd be alright, look. Famous last words, but you know, that's quite far off. It says here, Fiona is expected to affect portions of Atlantic Canada as a powerful hurricane. 4 cyclone late Friday and Saturday, September 23rd and 24th. There we go. They could have done with leading with that, but never mind. And could produce significant impacts from high winds, storm surge and heavy rainfall. So yeah, that's what we got going on there. So yeah, it looks like more it's going to clip the top eastern edge, northern eastern edge there, if anything. But yeah, unless something happens, they're looking like it's further enough away from the coast. So let's check out this volcano then and see what's been going on with that. Alert level raised to level 1. So doesn't look like it's the end of the world right just yet in terms of volcanoes. But look at the activity. It's definitely ramping. To 2022 sequence, look. So this is what we're doing. You can see there's obviously some cyclical nature of what's happening here. If you look at these last two, 1897, 1922, I can see the pattern there right now. Looks like we're just about due another 2. But we'll have to see. We don't usually get, you know, New Zealand's not around the New Zealand area because you've got Tonga and that not too far away from New Zealand, and there's a major active area in Tonga. But we'll have a look anyway in a sec. Let's just check quickly back in. So solar flares and quakes anyway, so we'll be getting into that. So let's have a look at the solar flares. We'll just have a quick look, make sure everybody's okay in the chat. Is everybody okay in the chat? Looks like everyone's cool. Is Margie with us tonight? Margie Mulder as well. She's one of our VIPs in Australia. Not sure if she's with us. She'll probably watch this afterwards anyway. Give it a like, Margie. Give it a like. Oh dear. So some people have got some buffering. Mine's looks like it's all right. So it looks like we're good. So they're talking about an early one, maybe before Christmas. We haven't had one for some years now. Referring to Carolyn Rose there saying had a 2.4 earthquake 20-minute drive away the other day. Earth not affected here, so it didn't come this way but went westward towards Cranbourne. So that's interesting. 2.4 earthquake. So did you feel that, Carolyn, then as a 2.4? Let us know. I've had a 5.7 before. That was quite exciting. Television nearly fell off. Nearly fell off the TV table, but not quite. Saved it like a hero. Cape came out and I was over there. Right, let's do it. Margie is in the house. There she is, my beautiful darling. Hello. Great to see you, my darling. I was wondering if you were here, another one of our Australian friends. And, Alaska, sorry, what am I talking about? Didn't feel it, but heard the raw people reported. Oh, really? Oh, I see. Because you can go on the felt it map, can't you? You can report it and things as well. So let's have a quick look at the sun then, and we'll get into our topic for Prepping 2022 tonight. It's like the premiere sneak peek kind of prototype, right? So we'll have a quick look at the sun and see what it's up to, check in on what's going on with the monies and economics and things, and then we'll be out of here. So we'll quickly look at the visible sunspots. Look, looks like we've got 3 named sunspots. Last time I checked for September, works out about 1.7 sunspots per day would be a predicted value for this month as being normal. We've been riding way higher the entire time, usually double. Looks like it's calming down a little bit, but we do have some activity that's just sparked off. So we'll have a quick look at that as well. And we'll go into the sunspot summary here, which I'd like to have a little look and see what they're saying. Now, looking like it was nothing major, just a C-class flare there, so nothing to worry about at all. So that's cool. And then we've got the sunspots here, and it gives you the rundown of the spot class. And here you've got the flare threat. So there's nothing really on the X class, as you can see. We've got 4 sunspots listed there. So yeah, it's not looking too severe. Yeah, not like because I did see people mention it in the chat, but it doesn't look like it's not anything too severe to worry about. Even a geomagnetic disturbances or anything like that, there's not a lot happening. So for the time being, we do have a little disruption incoming on the 23rd of September, but that's about it. I don't expect to see much more than that. So let's have a quick look at the economy, see what's going on with the crypto prices and the gold and silver prices, just to get an indication, and then we can get straight on with the show. Quite a few 6s going on there, look. So this is how gold's looking today on the week. It's down nearly 2%, and again, silver's going to be looking the same, down 1% on the week. US dollar $19.45. Should we have a quick look, which I like to do now and again, because the gold price has come down quite significantly. I think we're going to be less than 92 ounces of silver per ounce of gold, aren't we? So 1666 divided by Battle of Hastings is 1066, isn't it? Divided by $19.45 is 85 ounces of silver to an ounce of gold. So it's been up as far high as 92 recently, and down as low as about 75 just after Christmas. So it's moving quite a lot, silver against gold. And this is how the Bitcoin's looking. Let's have a look at US dollar. Let's check out the week. And again, we're down nearly 10%. Look, we're broken way below that $20,000 mark, which again is a big area of resistance on the way back down, on the way up, sorry, and a big area of support on the way back down the 20,000 mark. So the fact that it's broken through that area of support now, it's going to have to work really hard to go back up. You know, this thing's come down so high. It's come down so much. Yeah, if we look at a 3-month, we'll still capture it, will we? 6 month? Here we go. So the 6 month here, we're talking 56% down over 6 months, right? Now the problem is, what a lot of people seem to forget is that if you go down 50%, it means you've got to go up 100% to get back to where you were, right? So if you come down 50%, you haven't got to go back up 50%, you've got to go up 100%. Yeah, so if you go from 100 down to 50, you've got to do 100% of 50 again to get back to 100, right? So And the fact that it's just broken through the $20,000 mark now as well is just like, this is what I've been saying for several months now. I just think they're going to hammer it into the ground no matter what we do now. I just think the cryptos can't coexist with the central bank digital currency. It's just my opinion. I don't think they can coexist. There's no reason why they'd want them to, because otherwise who's going to choose the other, right? Anyway, we'll see how it pans out, but I'm just not feeling... I'm feeling less and less confident with the, you know, with the situation with the cryptos now and how things are going to play out. Just had a quick look on the down detector and it's actually looking pretty uneventful, so there's no major outages either going on. So with that being said, I think we are ready to rock and roll to our next segment. Let's have a look, make sure everyone's okay in there. Earthquake went east, not west, says Carolyn. Correction. So, here we go. So we get out of here then and we get back to base camp and then we'll check out what we got rocking for the Prepping 2022 segment this week. So let's get into it then. Let's hear your like button as well if you liked it. And I'll see you on the other side. Let's get back to the base camp. We're back. Choking on my tea, as you probably heard. Sorry. Cheers, everybody. Welcome back. Oh, nearly drowned in the break. So, welcome back to base camp. Not that it's much more relaxing back here at base camp than it was over on the SHTF Intel newsroom. But what can I say? Prepper news. Bringing you the SHTF Intel today, and as many days as we need to, as things are going on around the world. I'll try and keep you updated, and you know, bring you the best updates that I feel are important. And things are happening so quickly right now. I got a feeling that we're going to be getting into the doing a lot more SHTF Intel live prepper news reports than we've been doing before. So let's see. We've got all the live show systems built now. I've spent the last 3 months building all this system, so we're done. I can just go live whenever I want, which is lovely. And tonight, don't forget, is the sneak peek preview of our new Sigma Prepper Prepping 2022 series, where we're going to be looking at SHTF scenarios, survival skills, strategies, all sorts of things like that, tactical analysis of situations to do with like SHTF without rule of law, wargaming type thing, you know, where we'll be sort of challenging backwards and forwards as well. So that's the idea. So we've done the SHTF Intel report then. So SHTF Scenarios is what it's all about. Prepping 2022 is how we do. And don't forget, it will turn to Prepping 2023 when it's 2023 and we'll be able to do it all over again. So, should we get into the SHTF Scenarios then? And see what the plan is. So let's just make sure everybody's happy. I'm investing in my own business and being ready, not markets so manipulated, 100%. That's part of being a Sigma, is being self-reliant and being, you know, just being all about self-improvement, doing your own thing, not wanting to follow anyone else, not wanting to be led by anyone else. You know, this is like, you're not wanting to lead everyone else. It's just wanting to do your own thing, be as independent as possible, as self-reliant as possible, and just self-development. And that's what the Sigma Prepper Show is all about. Don't forget, tomorrow night we've got the Sigma Prepper Show, the show for preppers coming up tomorrow, which is always a joy. And of course, if you missed it, you will see a link in the description for the Sigma Prepper live show. This is how it looks with yours truly, Cheesy Face. And we'll be doing it all over again tomorrow, where we've got all your favourite stuff with the Sigma Prepper quiz. Don't forget, we've got another 7 prepper quiz and survival trivia questions to see if you are the ultimate prepper. And we've got all sorts of awards and things for that as well. Plus, don't forget, I'd really love for you to send in your quotes as well. We've got more quotes this week, so quotes@sigmaprepper.com. And progress. We've got Robert McNamara sent us a progress report, but if you've got some photos you'd like to send me with your prepping progress, do it for tomorrow night before tomorrow night's show, and I'll show it to the world, right? Do it. Progress@sigmaprepper.com. Progress@sigmaprepper.com. And join the Discord. You'll see it all in there. That's the way to do it. So let's get into it then with the Prepping 2022. Cheers, everybody. And welcome to the Prepping 2022 SHTF Survival Scenarios by Sigma Prepper. With our beautiful Sigma head. Isn't he absolutely gorgeous? Let me hear it in the chat for our beautiful Sigma. He is so handsome. Now, the idea being is that each week we will be doing a different topic for the SHTF scenarios, right? And this includes things like strategic analysis of situations, like survival situations and grid down scenarios and stuff like this, right? And so the idea being is we'll be going through this. We'll be going through a different one each week, and the first one that's going to be next week. So this week I'm essentially just introducing you to the show and letting you know what essentially is going to be happening next week, right? So that's kind of the idea. Let's just make sure the levels are okay here. So a more strategic approach to preparedness. So first and foremost, let me know. Loving Sigma, says Debbie. 500 billion people. No, it's 850 billion people. Is that my darling Noelle Marie in the house? It is. Hello, my darling. You're not late. Don't forget, there's no such thing as being late. You got here exactly when you intend to get here. No such thing as late. Thank you for being here, though. It's lovely to see your name pop up. So this is, I'm glad you got to see it, Noelle, because you are one of our VIPs. I hope you got to see your name in the thank you VIP segment. So, thank you, my darling. So advanced principles of prepping is going to be next week's show. And this is kind of how it's going to look, right? So let's get into it. And this is kind of how it's going to go. And of course, the title each week will change. The first week is going to be advanced principles of prepping, which we'll do next week. And hey, my darling Connie Richards in the house as well. Hey, Andy and Sigma family. I'm late. Again, no such thing as late. Blame YouTube. They haven't sent out any notifications to anybody, unfortunately. They never do with new channels. So do make sure you've got the bell notifications set to all notifications and you won't miss any super critical information like this. So this is how it's going to roll. And again, we'll do this next week. This about 40 slides. I'm going to be showing you about 7, right, of the 40 slides, just to give you a taste of what it's going to be like. Get your feedback on it. We'll have an after party tonight on the Discord server with the VIPs. Link in the description. You can be a VIP from as little as 20 cents a day. So, first and foremost, why do we need to prepare? Well, of course, our modern Western civilization is essentially, we are suffering big time, particularly in the West, from learned dependency, where we're all so many rules, so many regulations, so much health and safety, that it essentially means that people just don't really know how to keep themselves safe. They don't know how to keep themselves alive. Not a lot of people know how to cook, prepare meat and food. Not many people know how to grow things anymore. Back in the day, 100 years ago, as it says here, you know, compared to our ancestors of like less than 100 years ago, virtually everybody had chickens, everybody had goats, everybody knew how to till the fields and how to plant seeds. They knew the seasons, they knew techniques for preserving food with or without refrigeration, right? It's this sort of thing that we've lost touch with big time. And, you know, a lot of the Western nations have turned into nations of, you know, helpless, dependent, you know, betas versus Sigmas, right? So these are the things that are making society really more fragile than it needs to be, right? And so things like the self-reliance being at an all-time low means that when something, and you know, when, not even if, when something happens to disrupt that, the panic levels with your environment around you and the people around you are going to be far more than they would normally have been 100 years ago. You know, people in Africa and people in Southeast Asia, where I've lived for many years of my life, they wouldn't even notice a power outage because a lot of them don't have power in the first place, right? And they're not reliant on technology the way we are, right? So they're not going to be as affected, whereas the Western, this is why this is specifically talking about modern Western societies, right? Because people are so dependent on energy, it's not even funny. And we'll look at some of the reasons why and how that can really, you can come unstuck big time. Yeah. So the globalized supply chain, we've already seen the effect and the downside of that during the last 3 years, right? We've seen how the cascade effect of the fact that everyone's getting things from different places around the world, and the minute container prices go through the roof, the minute ships get stuck in the Suez Canal, the minute all these things happen, it has a cascade effect. And of course that is all part of that JIT system, the just-in-time system, originally developed by Japan as a way of being super efficient, so that shops essentially nowadays don't have a storeroom. That's just not how it works. It's inefficient to have a storeroom, so as a result shops just have an unloading bay, and as you buy something at the till, beep, as it gets scanned, it sends straight directly to the distributors a command to essentially load more of that specific item on the lorry and the truck to come and arrive at the store the following day, right? And so everything that they need is just in time ordered to be there the next day, right? Or even later in the day. So that's all very well and great when everything's working, but by its very nature, there is no redundancy in that, right? Because redundancy is inefficient with the JIT system. So the problem is that when one thing goes, it's like bup, 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 and it all stops. And like I say, we've already seen that a few times over the last few years. So, and again, resources are already stretched to the absolute maximum. We're already seeing the problem of that as well. Plus we've got the food shortages that are happening as a result of a load of stuff, not just the obvious things. There's probably 6 or 7 different things all compounding and causing the food shortages. There's been warehouse fires, there's been incentives by governments to farmers to plant wild flowers rather than edible crops and things like this. There's been cullings of cattle and chickens on the basis of PCR testing. So there's all this stuff that have all led to, there's been fertilizer bans, there's been fertilizer trains derailing, right? So resources are already at their limit. We've got a higher population density by far than what we had 100 years ago. You get the picture, right? We're critically reliant on tech more than we've ever been before. I don't know what to tell you, right? It's the worst possible time, essentially, for anything to go. You see, Debbie's already saying the shelves are already starting to look sparse. And again, that might be something we bring up front with another show we do very soon to do with the food shortages and some of the ways we can mitigate, right? So, the next bit is obviously quite important. Why learn with Sigma Prepper? Who the hell am I? Why should you listen to what I've got to say, right? Because I appreciate this is a new channel, and for those that have found me recently, I have a wealth of experience in prepping from other channels, let's just say, and there's a reason why this is the new one, right? So, but essentially, yeah, a good 20 years in prepping at least. I've lived in places like Thailand and Southeast Asia and, Middle East and near the Middle East as well, where we've had like droughts, water turned off 3 days a week, had tsunamis, earthquakes, you name it, right? So it's about having lived the life of chaos and, being forged in the fire of absolute disaster, really. I've been on my own since I was 15 years old as well, living on my own. So I am a true Sigma through and through. And of course, coupled with the fact that I've always been into survival as a prototyping engineer, a lot of the products that I've brought to market have been to do with survival sort of tech, let's just say. And so I'm looking at bringing more of that to market as well through Sigma Prepper with it's just basically my new premium brand for preparedness and survival gear, when some of the top bestest information in the world, yeah. And so the information I'm going to be bringing you over the shows to come, as weeks come by, will speak for themselves. But essentially, yeah, I've spent my life out of my comfort zone, and between you and me, being a good prepper and being a good survivalist is all about putting yourself out of your comfort zone as most frequently as you can. Even this evening, yeah, an hour before coming live tonight, when I was in the shower, I even turned the shower to cold for the last few minutes of the shower, and I literally stand there gritting my teeth, right, staring into the shower as it goes from warm to less warm to freezing cold, and I'll turn around slowly and let it go all over me, just sometimes you need to, you know, purposefully be uncomfortable. So I love the bushcraft camps and stuff like that as well. So you'll see as time goes on, if you're new, where I've come from and how I know the stuff I know, and I'm sure you'll learn along with me. And it's a two-way journey. I'm always the student as well, so don't feel like you can't teach me something, right? That's the first rule. So that's a little bit about who I am and why it might be worth listening to what I might have to say. So another thing that people always say to us, isn't it? They always like, oh, you know, you're paranoid, what could possibly happen? You know, it's never happened before in our lifetime and things like this. And I think it's like, as you can see here, there's a whole number of things that could just, because things are so Jenga balanced at the moment, it's tricky. So widespread hardware failure we could see for the infrastructure, societal economic collapse, major weather disaster, fuel and gas shortages we're already seeing, to be honest, or we'll start to see more. Even things like a solar flare taking out the grid, a full grid down scenario as well is never a good look. So these are the sorts of things we could see that could trigger an SHTF scenario. And of course, if you want to keep up to date with what's going on with the SHTF around the world, and then of course, sigmaprepper.com/SHTF Intel /SHTF-Intel. We just go to sigmaprepper.com, you'll see the link up there for SHTF Intel. Go and check that out, and there's always the latest global analysis of what's going on. So, what next week's is going to be about, and of course you'll hear a lot of this again next week, right? But this is a sneak peek, just to give you an idea of what it's going to be about, right? Because I'm showing you about 5% of what next week's going to be about. So the situation report, this is the way the style is going to happen, right? So this is the way the style of the Prepping 2022 series is going to work each week. We'll have the situation report, which will tell us what's just happened, and so on. So the situation report for this week then, or next week it will be, is the following hypothetical SHTF scenario is based on real events that have happened frequently throughout history, right? So this is going to simulate a complete grid down scenario with inoperable sewage systems, inoperable water systems, so no fresh water, complete cell and internet outage, so no communications, no anything, right? Major transport disruptions, and all trade and commerce cease. Now, to be honest with you, as I'll repeat again next week, the complete grid down scenario right at the top already cascade links all of those anyway. Because without any power, you're not going to get any sewage system pumps working either, or water systems working. You're also not going to be having any cell towers after about 2 days once the battery backups run out in the cell towers, so there's no communications. And of course the major transport disruptions, because no one's going to be driving anywhere because they'll be running out of fuel, because the gas stations aren't going to work, because there's no trade, there's no commerce, because the cashier registers aren't working, the ATMs aren't working, right? So even if you've got cash, there's nothing they can do to open the till to put the cash in and give you change. It's just not going to happen, right? So basically, everything cascade hits the fan, right? So leading on to that, we then go into the mission, which will state what our mission is. Prepare for a complete and sustained grid down scenario, including subsequent cascades of failure. So as we've just seen, it's not just the fact that the grid goes down, it's the fact that the cascade of that means sewage system, means water systems, means things like communications and cell towers go down, and internet goes down, right? And that's when mass panic starts setting in. So gather required preps and resources to homestead during SHTF. So this is looking at homesteading, not bugging out. That's a completely separate show, but again, you'll be voting on that later on in this show as to how soon you want to see the bugging out series, right? So an important thing is we're going to be checking it out and comparing 1 week to 1 month to 6 months and 1 year of preps and what that looks like. It's going to be really important. You're not going to want to miss it. Survive an SHTF with minimal loss, harm or damage to you, your loved ones or your properties. That's fair enough. That's a fair enough mission, and should we wish to accept it, and I think yes we do. So the objectives, and this will follow the same pattern every week, it'll just be a different mission, different objectives and different topic. So of course this is Advanced Principles of Prepping. I'm giving you a sneak peek of pre-launch for next week's launch, right? Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 p.m. UK time. So the objectives are going to be to learn how to prepare with maximum efficiency, because we don't have time or money to waste. We're going to minimize the risk of missing out critical items and other common prepper oversights. Even big preppers that you all know make these mistakes, right? Big channels. I see it all the time. I'm not going to name any names. See working examples of false economy traps, yeah, to avoid. And there are lots of them. And we're going to ensure we're getting the most survival juice out of our prepping squeeze. Yes, that's right. The most survival juice out of our prepping squeeze. So that's the objectives. Now, this all takes into consideration the differences in your own unique circumstances, right? So everything that the show will talk about will bear in mind everyone has differences with things like their climate and your environment. For example, if you're in Alaska, you're going to be dealing with different problems than if you're in Las Vegas with no water and in the desert. You're going to have different problems. You're going to need energy for air conditioning, perhaps. You're going to need to have solar power or wind power so you can run your well to get water, subject to your different issues you've got, right? So, of course, everyone's different. Local laws are different as well. In Australia, parts of Europe, the UK, the availability of things like firearms licenses and that aren't quite the same, obviously, as the US and the United States. So there's things like local laws and restrictions there we have to bear in mind as well, the differences in places. And of course, you know, whether you're in a off-grid cabin in the middle of the woods or whether you're in an apartment block in the middle of Detroit City, you know, this is the sort of differences we've got to bear in mind. Of course, family size, how many kids you've got, how many animals or pets you've got. So you're going to have to scale up or down subject to your own circumstances, right? And of course, disabilities, fitness, health. There'll be other shows I'll do specifically for prepping tips for disabled people and things like this. Will be interesting. Looking forward to that. And of course, everyone's got a different budget and financial means. But this is the kind of things we are bearing in mind that, you know, everyone's got their own situation that they'll have to scale up or down. So a lot of the time people, you know, they're like, where do I even start? Because there's such a big world of prepping. You know, there's so many different categories of things to prepare in, which I'll be going through with you. And of course, you know, how to know what preps to invest in, what order to get things in, and so on, right? And of course, we need to start with the things that are both important and urgent, which comes into the Eisenhower matrix, right? So if those aren't familiar, I have shown it before in other shows I've done. This is the Eisenhower matrix. And as you can see, if you've got too many things to even know where to start, this is how to organize it. You have to look at each thing that you got on your task list, of which, with my help and with the followers of Sigma Prepper, who are all very experienced preppers as well, we'll be able to help each other to come up with their own list of things that you need to get done, bought, figured out, fixed, and so on. And so if you can understand how to separate it like this and compartmentalize your problems into the things that are really urgent and really important first, right? Because there's a difference between urgent and important, yeah? So if it's something that's urgent, it's got to be done right away because we're running out of time or they're running out of stock in the shops or something, that may make it urgent. And of course, if it's something like some medication that you're going to need ongoing, then of course that's important. And so on, right? So if it isn't urgent and important, then just do it, right? And if it's not very important, but it is still urgent, then you can just delegate it. And if it's not urgent and it's not important, then just don't worry about it, just eliminate it and so on, right? So you can see how that works. It's really easy to follow. It's a great place to start if you just literally don't even know where to start in prioritization. This can be a great way. Great to see Extreme Focus in the house. Our ultra VIP supporter in the house. Everyone should kneel before. So, classic prepping mistakes. Now, this is kind of the big meat and potatoes of the advanced principles of prepping that we'll be talking about next week with this show. We're on slide 7 at the moment. It goes up to slide 40 something. So, this is basically, we'll be looking at different profiles of different preppers and how they make different mistakes, and it will be interactive. You'll be identifying them yourselves as well, and we'll be playing the game, and so don't miss that. But yeah, lots of different prepping mistakes that we'll be looking at and giving examples of in visual form. So multiple unseen short and long-term threats. We've got overconfidence in single disciplines. You know, you get people who just got loads of ammo, loads of stuff like that, and no food, right? You got other people who got loads of food and, you know, loads of meds, but got like no protection and nothing for their animals, right? So we'll be looking at that and how to organize that and how to do more of a incremental prepping plan so that you don't miss big things out, and we can start working on a prioritization of the bits that you need to focus on up front. So I see a lot of people, you know, with these, you know, the full sense of security you see here, badly thought through half-baked ideas. And part of where I've got a lot of my insights from is from quite a few years now of talking to prepper VIPs, my patrons, from other sources as well, and just literally gaming these situations through with my VIPs, almost like a one-to-one consultancy where they describe their environment, the situation they're in, and I just sort of like come up with what I would do if I were them in that situation, with their health needs, with their property, with the vehicles that they've got or haven't got, right, or the lake that's near them or not. You know, these sorts of things we talk about, and it's given me great insight to see some of the pitfalls and some of the easy mistakes to make. And it's not these guys' fault by any means, and I'm just pleased I've been there to help them correct it and see a different way of going forward. But I do wonder how many other people out there have gone ahead doing things, spending money on things they shouldn't have done, and not spent money on things they absolutely should have done. And so if I can just help one person make a better decision, it could be life-saving, quite literally. So this is the kind of things we'll be looking at to help people to avoid in detail. And then and there's about another 30 slides after that, and I literally finished the last slide this morning, and I didn't get to sleep till about 6:30 a.m. this morning, right? So I just didn't feel like I was up to doing the full show to my best of my ability tonight, but I did want to just firm up that slot for the Wednesdays, 11 p.m. UK time. It will be 11 p.m. UK on a Wednesday, and that will be 6 p.m. Eastern time, and then obviously the Thursday. And as we see here, what we've got coming up next, we've got the SHTF Intel, as I mentioned before, the TIA Global Analysis Report. Hopefully, subject to budget, we can get her report out there each Monday with a new global analysis artificial intelligence report. But it's super costly, and I have zero budget. And thank you to the Patreon VIPs, because without you, well, I wouldn't even be able to be doing this show right now, literally. So thank you so much. So look out for those on the Mondays then. That's my intention. That's what I hope to do every Monday. And then we've got the SHTF Survival Scenarios, which is what we're watching now with the Prepping 2022 series. That'll be Wednesdays 11 p.m, 6 p.m. Eastern time every week. And then again, we've got the Sigma Prepper live show, which is every Thursdays, which is more the party feel, where with all the gnarliness going on during the week with the stuff we're doing with the other videos, because there'll be other videos coming out as well, typically. The Thursdays is our party night. We've had 2 already. As I showed you in the what do you call it? This is what the thumbnails look like. We have loads of segments. We've got the Sigma Prepper quiz. We've got all sorts of goodies with things like that, and the Sigma Prepper quotes. We've got the Prepper's Progress. All sorts of fun segments for you to join in with. Super interactive, beautiful Sigma family we've got here at Sigma Prepper. That have all carried over from my other places that I'm known from. So thank you so much for following me as my loyal fans. I really appreciate each and every one of you so very much. You've got no idea. So thank you so much. And then plus so much more, of course. So that's really the idea of what the advanced principles of prepping is going to be. You've only seen 7 or 8 of 40 something slides so far, right? And it's epic. So definitely don't be missing it, because this is what the sorts of things we're going to be talking about with the Prepping 2022 series weekly. Now, one thing that I wanted to bring up with you was the option. So first of all, I need to. Have we got our have we got our list here? I don't think we have, but that's okay. Let me just put it on here, and I'm just going to do, because like I say, we're prototype form at the moment, so I need to add a couple of slides in there for we've got a list of topics that will be coming up next week or over the weeks, right? So the idea is we've got options to be able to, for you to choose from, so you'll be able to let us know which of the topics you want to see up front, right, before others, is the idea. So let's have a look. Is it this one? I'm just trying to find. Do bear with me. Okay, let's just make sure I rendered it out for a start. That would probably help, wouldn't it? This one. This one. Right, so here's the plan. We're just gonna make sure I've got this even rendered out, because it should be. It should be. Which is essentially a couple of examples of some of the shows that we've got coming up as an option. But funnily enough, he says that, but I literally can't see it anywhere here. Must be going blind. It's fine. It's alright, plan B. But let us know if there's any topics that you want me to be talking about up front, essentially, is what I need to say. I've got a little list here, I just need to get it out to you. I'm doing that now, so bear with me. Good time to take a sip. Okay, so we've got choice of shows. That'll be handy. It's called choice of shows. Why wouldn't it be called choice of shows? So give me 5 seconds. I just need to render that off. So like I said, this is the prototype, so it means that next week it's going to be absolutely wonderful. Choices, we're going to call that. Okay, lovely. Thank you so much, everyone, for being patient with me while I just get that figured out. As I say, this is like a preliminary launch, if you like. I was planning for tonight to be the first one, but yeah, like I say, it's been an epic week of building stuff from scratch. I have no help and no budget, so I have to do and thoroughly enjoy making everything myself, right? So this is what I was looking for. Do apologize for the wait, but here we are. Which topics are most urgent? So here we go. Please let me know in the live chat and the comments what order we should be doing these topics in. Now, I've got about 35 different topics already listed out, right? And I've just listed some of the things I think we need to start talking about sooner. There's like 5 here as an example where there's already quite a lot of work that I've got put into these. But if there's something that's not on this list that you would like me to cover and do an entire, epic show basically on, then obviously the advanced principles of prepping is going to be next week. So that's going to be next Wednesday, which is going to be the 28th of September, right? So 28th of September, which is actually, yeah, so advanced principles of prepping is going to be that, right? 40 slides. It's epic. It's massive. It's the only one we can start this off with, because you need to know all that first before we start anything else, right? Grid down scenario could be, I've got a feeling coming towards winter, all the talk of the dark winter and stuff like this, you must have heard them talking about it for months now, right? So I just got a feeling with the grid down scenario this winter, so I'm really keen to cover that. That's a pretty monster show. The grid down scenario, what that is it looks at what happens day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. It's a perfect complement to the one we're going to be doing on the 28th of September on the Wednesday, which is going to be the advanced principles of prepping, right? So that uses the grid down scenario as the preface, or as the situation report, right? And then it gets dealt with accordingly. So that's kind of like the idea, right? Now, the bugging out the option C, I've I've done that show in other places before, and it's gone down really well, because we talk about the fact that the option A is the homestead, the option B is the bugging in, and the option C is the bugging out, right? They are different things. So that's a pretty monster show as well. The ham radio communications in an SHTF, that's pretty monstrous. That looks at a tactical usage of ham radios, and I usually like to, the idea with that is we'll be using Google Earth, yeah, and we can use actual tactical analysis tools to sort of look at what would be the best strategy using your ham radios in an SHTF scenario without rule of law, stuff like that, right? And how to coordinate, why you would need them, how to use them. That's a big show. Ham radio communications, definitely a good one. Security and defenses for homesteading, again, quite a big show, that one, but I'd love to do that with you, looking at the different levels of protection going from the outside inwards. And of course, as I say, if there's anything that's not listed in there. So we got Debbie Sermon in the house saying ham radio top list, please. Let's see, haven't I got a, yes, here we go. Ham radio top, please, says we got to vote for ham radio, and that would be about, you know, all of the do's and don'ts. It's funny, I've got a ham radio charge here, but not a ham radio. Here we go. Have I? Oh no. Oh yeah, here we go. Do you know, like this is a classic example. This is my this is one of my ham radios, right? It's a Baofeng, but it got left turned on. Yeah, this dial is so sensitive. It's not like the other Baofengs I've got. This one just, oh, and I have this on a tactical belt, a molly belt, right, with a molly strap pouch. So it does look like it's recovered. But the thing I don't like about these radios is that it's got a different battery, because this has got a slightly different IP rating and ingress protection for like waterproofing. So the batteries and the charger isn't compatible with all the other Baofengs. There's a little bit of a... So I need to talk about things like that. But yeah, do be careful, because they do get left on accidentally just because they get brushed past and they turn themselves on. So it will be a case of as well recommending that people basically remove the battery out of their ham radio so it can't self-discharge and you don't get that problem, right? So there'll be things like that to talk about, but it'll be more about the tactical elements of it. I have got a 6-part series all to do with masterful usage and tactical usage of ham radios, which won't be a live one, that'll be a dedicated one. So yeah, Blackout Britain is a good film to watch, says Sandy, 100%. I did a lot of research using that film and others because they use top researchers themselves to produce that. So there's a lot to be learnt. I watched about 4 or 5 different documentaries and films to do with a grid down scenario to get an idea, plus my own experience of living in Thailand and having a grid down at least once a week, every week, right? It's just normal there. So I'm very much used to that and what happens, how long it takes until things get gnarly. I've lived through that quite a few times, so I'll be able to share some of that with you, right? Oh, tip, take the battery out. Okay, well, there's another quick tip then. Don't leave your ham radios charging in one of the base chargers. That's another definite don't do. The base charger for the ham radios, don't be leaving it charging all the time. It will spank that battery. It keeps it topped up. Lithium batteries actually like to be kept at like middle charge, about 60% charge, 3.7 volt ideally. So 3.7 volt per cell, that is. It's the 2 cells in series, the ham radio, so that'll be 8.4. Coffee is very important to me, says Daily Survival. I have over a year's supply, ground beans and freeze dried. Like it. Well, we'll look at that next week when we're talking about the prepper profiles, and we'll see how well people are faring. So thank you, everybody. Let's jump out of here and let's get back to base camp, shall we? Yes, Les. So it's been a lovely time with you all. Thank you so much for joining me. I wasn't anticipating it being a particularly long one, since I was just coming in to really just kind of share with you what the plan is for next week and just give you a heads up quickly of some of the slides, the theme, the look, the feel, the playlist, the music playlist and so on, right? It's all ready to go. I built the last few things this morning, as I said before, getting to bed, and then I've been working on it since I woke up at 2 p.m. or midday, I think it was. No, I got to sleep at 6:30 in the morning, woke up at midday, 12:30, and I've been rocking since then as well. So I thought, I am kind of ready, but kind of not, as you can see. I just thought, no, I'll wait until we can make it a really good one next week. It'll be nice and tight, and we'll keep it nice and firm, and it'll be a great show. Loads to learn next week. Please don't miss it for the advanced principles of prepping as part of our new Wednesdays Prepping 2022 show that we'll be doing every week on a Wednesday. And of course, get your votes in the chat, get your votes in the comment section below if you're watching this afterwards, are the sort of topics that you want me to talk about. And I tend to go for depth. I tend to go for I'm not like, it's not going to be like you see with other preppers. I'll get right into the details of it. So if you don't like details of understanding of things, then you're better off with the other dudes who have got hundreds of thousands of subscribers who don't get into the details and just gloss over really critical things. So I'm going to be talking about the really critical things on every week on the Wednesdays, right? And of course, don't forget, we've also check out the channel, because there's loads of videos there that need watching. They desperately need watching by you. And again, the TIA Global Analysis Report's done brilliantly this week, so thank you so much for supporting that. Got 5 views an hour happening on our TIA Global Analysis Report, so thank you, Tia, and thank you to everyone for supporting her. And of course, this is the show we're watching now, and the thumbnail will look like this every week. That's how it's going to look. And so of course, and the live show as well. And then after the live show tomorrow, I generally have I will cut out the SHTF Intel report and upload it separately, as do I with the prepper quiz questions. And don't forget, we had urban harvesting was our week 1 and week 2 winner. This was the week 1, 8th of September. And this is what you're missing out on, basically, is this is me double on the screen. Cool, that's a bit severe, isn't it? Double Andy on the screen. But the Sigma Prepper quiz is absolutely awesome. I really enjoy it, and so does everybody else. Are you prepared? Test your prepping knowledge. Yeah, 7 preparedness questions, A, B, C, D options, with the most sexiest, beautiful Ultimate Prepper award you could ever win. And so do join us tomorrow night for Sigma Prepper quiz, where we'll have another definitely got Double Andy going on now. We'll have another great show and lovely interaction. It was such a great time last week and the week before, so thank you everyone for being such a great sports and for joining in and for doing so well. Well done for Urban Harvesting for getting first for the Sigma Prepper quiz twice in a row. The question is this week, can Urban Harvesting make it 3 out of 3 hat trick? And this week, can he get 7 out of 7 on the Sigma Prepper quiz? It's great survival trivia. Everyone loves it. So great questions every week. And so that's the plan with that. So don't miss that. Loads of, if you haven't seen it before, again, go and check out some of the videos on the channel and see if you like it. Go and check out sigmaprepper.com as well if you want to check out me and what I'm all about and what the whole Sigma thing's all about. Sigmaprepper.com. Go and check it out. The SHTF Intel link on there. Top menu at the top here. Look anyway. SHTF Intel. Dive into there. Look. And you'll see the latest tier report. And you also hear, look, you've got all the global threat analysis. So you've got in order, all the things that are going to basically get you in the what's-its first, right? In order of the things that are going to be doing us in. Most likely, right? So this was last updated on the 19th of September, and it's all totally relevant today as it was on the 19th of September, as you can imagine. So do please go and check out the website, sigmaprepper.com. There's a load of survival gear on there as well. Don't forget, got the brand new, free of charge, totally free virus prediction tool, which I've brought back to everybody, which I first released in January of 2020. The penny drops. So yes, that's the virus prediction tool, totally free. Go and download it. You've got the ultimate hotspot as well, the survival hotspot with the Wi-Fi, knowledge hotspot with Wikipedia, 160 Canadian prepper videos, and loads of stuff on there. Wikipedia, Gutenberg project with 60,000 books, all running off a Raspberry Pi Zero. So get yourself your SD card, plug her in, and have access to internet when nobody else has it. So, loads of reasons to get yourself over to sigmaprepper.com, and of course, do get yourself hooked up on Discord. Links in the description, along with all the social media. Could do with some follows on TikTok at the moment because I've got some plans, and I'm also planning to go live on TikTok as well as YouTube at the same time, simultaneously. That's the plan. Whether I pull it off or not, we'll see. It's I love a technical challenge, and shouldn't be a reason why not. I have built the infrastructure in this show from scratch to allow me to do that, so we'll see. And then we can get a great audience of people from lots of different places. So thank you to everybody for joining us. We're going to jump into the Discord VIP party for Thou Art Wonderful VIPs. So thank you very much for supporting me. We're going to skip over the Howls and Growls because we will be going way past an hour. And so we're going to skip to the end with the VIP after party with my absolute darling supporters. Thank you. And so, yeah, basically, I suppose what I'm saying is if your name is on the list, your name's not down, you're not coming in, right? So all the ways you can help, if you'd like to help Sigma Prepper survive and stay online, really appreciate each and every one of you that are doing that. Patreon's a great way to do it. Free gifts when you get sent as a patron, access to the VIP Discord server, behind the scenes movies, you name it, loads of stuff, getting on there. And of course, thank you again to these people helping me to be able to come online. I really appreciate you. You're doing it for everyone else. Thank you so very much. And of course, lots more coming for you behind the scenes as we start to grow. Now I've got these shows fully designed, nearly. We'll be able to start rocking with all the cool stuff. So looking forward to it. Let's get into it. Back to base camp. Thank you so very much for joining us. I've had a great time. I hope everybody else has had a good time. It's certainly been lovely to see you all in the chat. 4-day weekend here, says Carolyn. Hotspot equals lifesaver. Thank you, Sandy. And it's Danger Bob in the house. There he is. Great to see you, Danger Bob. I didn't see you slide in the back door there. What a superstar. So thank you, everybody listening and cooking. Good man. Good man. Good cooking, good looking. So we'll catch up in the Discord VIP after party right about now. So thank you so much, everyone. I hope you will join me next Wednesday, 11 p.m. UK time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And of course, as you can see on the agenda here, we're talking about 8 a.m. in Sydney, 8 a.m. Australia. We'll be going live. And for next week's Prepping 2022, for your ultimate survival strategies and stuff like that. As you've just seen, we'll be getting right into it, so I'm looking forward to it. So in the meantime, thank you very much, everyone. I've had a great time. I hope you've had a great time, and you know how we do. Love, peace and progress to the pack. See you in the next one.